Hello everyone, this is HESGS here, back some more StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm 1v1 action. This time it is going to be a game between Team Liquid's Taeja up at the top right side, and his opponent down the bottom left side is going to be Quantix Hyun. That is right, it is going to be a 1v1 between two amazing Koreans who are absolutely fun to watch, and you can definitely learn a lot from both these players as well. Of course, it is going to be a TvZ, which I haven't actually checked, and I haven't labeled every single one of the videos on my channel per matchup, but I will say that my prediction is that TvZ is by far my most cast matchup. I think it's a solid matchup. I think it is one of the most defining kind of matchups in the game. Always reminds me of Starship Troopers, of Aliens, and it basically reminds me of everything cool about science fiction. So anyways, TvZ here on Star Station. And this is once again going to be from the team story. That is the Acer Cup. And yeah, it is still easily one of the best locations to get awesome replays, get to see a lot of the most active players out there. And you got to remember that these teams have kind of made it through a grueling process in the open bracket. Then they went to the round robin stage. The top 9 from the bracket advanced to this part of the tournament that we're at right now, which is basically going to be round robin. Top 4 advanced to the quarterfinals, which I think is going to be awesome. So this is obviously going to be Quantic versus Team Liquid, and we'll see exactly how it plays out. Now, Taeja is someone who is a terrifyingly good Terran. Haven't seen him do as much lately, although he is still sick good. He's been doing a lot of his games in the Team League, and we'll see exactly how he decides to play this out. He used to go for lots and lots and lots of early upgrades. It was extremely fun to see, and really extremely fun to watch just that kind of play develop over time. He has since gone away from that just a little bit, as you know, Heart of the Swarm is a completely new game. There's lots of new units, and we do have a relatively early gas here for Hyun. Notice that this is way before spawning pool. He already has his hatchery down first, just about as greedy as you can get as Zerg without going for an early third, which early third on this map might actually be kind of a mistake. So I'm thinking it's a good idea for him not to go ahead and do that. Spawning pool, of course, now on the way. We do have a Reaper going to be on the way here for Taeja. We're going to see, can this individual Reaper actually kill off anything of use, or is it mostly just going to be for scouting? That's really the decision that Terran players have to make. So it's kind of like a catch-22, is that the right saying? Where if you're aggressive with it and you're able to kill off a lot of stuff, that's great, but then you run the risk of losing the Reaper in the early game. Then you can't really scout in the mid game, and then you have to use scans, which is not ideal. However, later, if you're not aggressive with the Reaper, say you want to keep him to go for later scouting, then it's much more difficult to actually do anything aggressive with that Reaper because there's just more stuff on the field. There's going to be Hydras, Roaches, Mutas, Zerglings, all sorts of stuff that can just kill off that Reaper. Whereas in the early game, I mean, the Reaper, he feels OP as hell in, like, the first 2 minutes of a game because he can just run in here, scout, he can be in harassing, and he almost gets the drone right there. Does manage to save it by building the extractor. Another drone. Oh, no, he throws down the Spore Crawler there as well and almost traps the Reaper right there. So I think these drones are going to be safe to go back to work right now. And please note, everybody, you do not need a Spore Crawler. Excuse me, you do not need an evolution chamber to build a Spore Crawler, so definitely just something to keep in mind there. Looks like the Reaper going to move down here to the expansion, realizes, all right, there's not a whole lot I can do here. If you're wondering why he just doesn't run directly back into the main with this, well, guess what? There's a Queen there, and he's going to jump right into it, and that's exactly what happens. The Queen there, unable to actually attack, as it is off of creep, but he can actually leave this here for just a moment right now. Now, again, Reapers on this map, I know I've said it in the past in previous casts, but the reason Reapers are so good on this map, and might actually even be good for like proxy Reapers and things like that, is because there's so much service area right along this ledge. It's not even really a ledge at this point. It's like the entire base. There's so much service area for a Reaper to jump inside that trapping the Reaper, attacking it right when it jumps into your main is very difficult. You have to basically keep track of where those Reapers are at. The Overlord right here is not going to get killed off because he made another Reaper. So Taeja does have 2 Reapers. He can use them to grab the watchtowers. Got to be able to easily kill off Zerglings that attempt to grab the watchtowers for Hyun, so I think he's going to be just fine, and actually has Hellions here as well, so he could actually be going for a very early, aggressively timed Hellion Reaper attack, which can be quite effective. We do have a Marine on the way right now with Stim Pack on the back of this, and if you're wondering why you got the Marine so late, at this point, I think it's since he's going for such an early expand, he doesn't really care if he's going to be scouted by this first Overlord. The Marine, yep, is not even going to be able to kill off that Overlord, so the Overlord will be able to just slowly float away. I believe that an Overlord can fit back here away from Marine firepower. There's not a whole lot of dead space to the north. There's a lot more up here to the northeast. And the Overlord for now, I think he can escape here. Yes, he can. All right, the Marine, they're unable to actually attack that. Zerglings are going to be moving out here. Might actually surround the Hellions here, and he does. Goodbye, Hellions. And that really, oh, never seen a battle quite take place in that location, but does end up losing that Hellion, but will be able to kill off the remainder of these Lings, it looks like. Not really worth it, I feel like, there for Taeja, though. Losing those 2 Hellions just sucks. Yes, our Zerg player has technically lost a little bit more, but guess what? That's kind of how Zerg plays out in the early game. He does have a 3rd base going to be on the way, so he's going to be doing just fine right there. This is going to complete before the 8-minute mark, so in pretty good shape. Here comes the Hellion and Reaper mixed in. You can see if he would have had 2 more Hellions here, this push looks quite terrifying, but for now, he's just going to go straight for Larva. Can't say that I blame him. Because the Larva will die quite easily to the Hellions because they do extra damage to light. And you see right here that a Larva does indeed count as lights. Now, more Zerglings are going to be on the way, and actually a Baneling nest right here. So Hyun is going to be shaping up to do some sort of timing off of 3 bases. Not quite sure if he's going to have too many drones saturated over here. This one drone has his own mansion right now. Doesn't have to share that with anybody. But with so many Zerglings, so many Banelings on the way, I think that Hyun realizes, you know what? Taeja didn't really go for a whole lot of good defensive units. I might actually be able to end this right now. However, Taeja realizes that is the weakness of his build, is going to be going for his own bunker right now, and he is working on the 1-1 upgrades, and more importantly, he does have the Widowmine, so his Lings do need to run in one at a time, or I guess the Roaches could eat a lot of those, because Roaches do not die in one shot from Widowmines, although splash damage is going to be devastating no matter how much HP you have, just because it's going to do a lot of splash. Now, does Hyun realize that there are going to be Widowmines here? They are backed up just a little bit. He might actually be able to activate them. He does see one burrow there, so he knows what's up. He's going to be working on trying to take out the upgrades. Here come the SCVs. That's not where you want to be, though. They do back up at the absolute last second. Widowmines, though, got to be doing some massive damage. The Marauder inside the bunker as well will eventually get taken out, and the SCVs will go down. Zerglings just going to town on these SCVs and going to be attacking the main base with this. And this is going to be really, really tough for Taeja to hold off. I mean, what does he really have? He has a medevac on the way. He's not going to have that many SCVs right now. 57 supply for Taeja to 82 for Hyun. This is going to be a near unrecoverable position, although there are still 3 bunkers at the natural. So I don't think that Hyun is actually going to end this right now. I thought he had a few more units inside the main. They do get cleaned up here by the last few new units that are being produced and can be even afforded right now. But more Lings going to be lining up here as they go into the expansion. And notice how he's splitting up that army quite well. So many workers have been killed. Continued lean production right now, where even Roaches are going to be backing this up as well. The Widowmines are going to get a nice detonation, though, killing off the majority of those Lings. Really have to separate your Lings as much as you possibly can. Does the bunker indeed fall? It's going to be a close one here as SB is trying to repair it. Doesn't look like there's nearly enough upgrades for our Zerg player. Did he ever get any upgrades? No, he didn't. 0-0 on this attack. And all of a sudden, it looks like Taeja has actually held it off. He is still going to be losing a couple workers up here, but should eventually be cleaned up. 37 workers killed at the 11-minute mark. That is going to leave him with 12 SCVs. 5 mules are somehow on the field, though, keeping his income right up there with the Zergs. That is going to buy him the time he needs to reproduce that. There's going to be those mules hidden over here at this 3rd base. Didn't realize that Taeja actually had a 3rd base that early and was actually able to defend it right now. You can see that Hyun, a little bit upset with that, is going to go ahead and head back home. All of his units are slowly moving back to the creep. At this point, what Hyun needs to do, though, is macro, macro, macro. He's not going to be able to kill his opponent anytime soon. Maybe when he gets Mutilisks, maybe when he gets Hydras, but right now, just Roach Zergling is not going to be enough, especially with those upgrades going to be finishing up here now for Taeja. And that 3rd base is fairly well saturated for our Zerg player, all things considered. He is at 60. Or was at 60, now he's at 58 because of those extractors. 58 workers to only 22. That is definitely going to be favoring Hyun right now. So this is going to be Hyun's game to throw away if he ends up losing, because Taeja, I mean, he doesn't have a whole lot. Take a look at the army supply right now. 37 army supply to 30, 28 workers to 58 still, so a 30 worker supply deficit right now. He does, though, have a sizable army, I suppose, a little bit bigger than I would have originally anticipated at this stage, producing 2 SCVs at a time here, most likely rallied to the expansion. Let's see. Nope, they're still rallied into the natural and the main because he has so few workers. So I guess why rally them to the 3rd base, which is just definitely susceptible to an attack. Now, it does like the Hellion Marauder Marine medevac unit composition got to be moving forward. Does he decide to scan? Does he want to try and deny any further creep spread here to maybe scare Hyun into staying into his base? Or does he just go for a straight on drop? So far, it does look like a drop. It did get spotted by the Overlords, though. So he does know if this is headed his way. More Zerglings, more Roaches, or at least I assume he knows it's headed his way. Baneling's going to be morphing in. Unloads right over here on the Creep Tumors. Notice how he kills the Creep Tumor that was building. You can still see those. Zergling's going to get a nice round. Roach is going to be joining as well. So far, this drop not looking the greatest. Yeah, not the greatest at all. Actually, dropping up here would be a beautiful spot. He does decide to drop behind the mineral lines right now. Here come the Banelings, here come the Roaches and the Lings. They do get a surround. Once again, that army has got to get the hell out of there. The medevac over here only has 6 HP, and that is full of units. A Hellion, Marauder, and 4 Marines. That is not something you want to be losing right now. The Spire is on the way for Hyun. The thing about Spire is it's always kind of a weird tech choice versus Terran, because Marines hard counter it into the dirt, but you have so much mobility, but at the same time, there's also Widow Mines, and it can definitely be tough. If the Terran player catches you at a time when your Mutalisks are not doing what they do best, which is harassment, then you can be in a lot of trouble. Now, right now, it looks like Hyun here could be gearing up for another expansion, as he will definitely need it, but it does look like the continued push over here on the left side will most likely get picked up here by the medevacs. Oh, some of those units were lucky enough. The other half were definitely not, as they do get taken out, I believe, by the Queen there. You can see right now that Hyun is trying not to spend any gas he doesn't need to. He is at 1,300 by the time this Spire finishes, and there it goes down right about now. It should be a lot of mutas being produced at the same time. He did just make 40 Lings, so hopefully for him he didn't use all of his larvae. Oh my god, did he actually use all of his larvae? Yes, he used all of his larvae on Lings, left no larvae for Mutalisks here, which is definitely an interesting choice. There's going to be some sort of attack down here. It does look like they've continued drop, not really doing anything still. This drop overall has not done all that much, and I'm wondering if Hyun is deciding to not go for Mutas, even though he has the Spire right now. He is going to be attacking this third base up here. Lots of bunkers, lots of Marine Marauders, and a pretty crazy split here from Taeja. Great control there. We'll end up losing yet another bunker, but he manages to hang on to fight another day. You can see that he has been cost effective. He is now catching up in supply. He's doing good on the amount of bases he has, so he might actually be back in this game. Even after losing 37 workers, he might actually be able to manage to pull this off. I mean, if there's anyone from Team Liquid who can pull off an upset like this when being this far behind, it is definitely going to be Taeja. Taeja has a lot of experience in the GSL and a lot of experience playing for Team Liquid now. So we will see on his upgrade timings, though, how they match up with his opponent. 2 attack, 2 armor on the way, but that is light years behind of the 2 armor and 2 melee attack that Hyun is going to be going for. Hyun does have the Infestation Pit on the way, which can mean either Hive Tech for more upgrades, it can mean Swarm Hosts, it can mean Infestors, it can mean Brood Lords. Really, the world is your potato when you have that ability. I don't think the world being your potato is actually that exciting, but I'm going to go ahead and stick with it here as we do march forward. And Taeja somehow managing to get up a third base and secure it. That's the impressive part, is that he managed to hang on to this for so long. He does have 1 bunker behind the mineral line. He needs to make sure that when he moves out, he tries to just bring along every single unit he can. They do have the awesome custom skins. I gotta say, the bayonets on their guns are freaking sweet. I highly approve of bayoneted Space Marines. There's just something really cool about that. But either way, Liquid Taeja has finally got his macro rolling. He's kind of got the units he wants. He's starting to work on the upgrades now. I think going for the armor upgrade first here, which is an interesting choice, as he doesn't have that +1 attack just yet on those siege tanks. Creep spread looking really good for Hyun. He does need to continue this, though. Cannot allow it to slouch or slack. I guess slouching would be bad as well. It's bad for your posture. If you're sitting in your chair right now slouching, you sit back up. Your back will thank you later. But either way, Zergling, Baneling, and Mutalisks are finally here. But I feel like it's just too little too late. I mean, again, 37 workers have already been killed, but if he waits too long, he's going to lose, again, a window of opportunity here to make something happen. I think the turtle style of Taeja right now is really starting to help him out, because even though he took damage in the early game, he is easily able to recover here. It does look like the Mutalisks is going to continue to harass, just to see if they can pick up any workers here and there. And like right here, for example, if he comes in at the perfect angle, he can kill off all the SCVs, which is something that is nothing but frustrating for Terran players. Trust me. I have played as Terran before, and losing to a million Mutalisks, nothing more frustrating. Oddly enough, losing to a million Mutalisks equally as annoying in ZVP, just because Mass Muta is so good. However, the Mass Marine Ball, if it ever catches those Mutalisks out of position, that is going to be it for them. A couple Marines do get taken out here. And reinforcements over on the left side might get taken out as well. I don't know how he actually knew about this, but he is dangerously close to this army. Oh my god, it's actually just barely out of vision there. So if you're wondering if he's map hacking, the answer is no, because he flew over there and then just left that army because he can't see it, albeit barely. Now we do have 3-3 on the way. Surprised to see the Mutas not pick that up right away. They're going to go ahead and attack this army as quickly as possible. We'll kill off another Overlord, which does actually supply block Hyun. Not something that I had originally realized. Here's some Marines over here. There's going to be so many Lings. And might actually be able to escape right now, depending on his cute micro tricks. I like this, unloading the Marines here to try and deal maximum damage to the medevac, at least as much as he possibly can. He does end up losing a couple Mutas here to this drop, and the other Muta will survive for now. But either way, able to do that. Now we do have this army going to go ahead and retreat away because Banelings are no fun unless you're Zerg running into a completely undefended third base. It is at least undefended on the south side. That's why Banelings are so effective right there. But does he have enough resources? Has Hyun lost too much? It doesn't look like it just yet, as it is a relatively even game here so far, and we do have a lot of hatcheries coming out. This is going to be, what is this, 6 hatcheries, 5 bases. That's going to be non-stop unit production, especially since Hyun already has 4,000 minerals, 2,000 gas. At this point, when you're already a maxed out army, what is it that you actually do? Well, one of the things you can do is build like 100 spine crawlers. Not even joking. Oh, God! Well, Hyun throwing away the lead he had right there. The 2-2 Marines just chewing through that like literally a knife through water. I mean, it was like not even a fair chance there. However, with 14 Ultras on the way and no obvious anti-Marauder unit composition in the army of Taeja, he might end up losing all of his Marines. It does look like the drone's going to be giving away that there might be an expansion down the bottom right side. Usually when you transfer workers, that is how you know there is an expansion. But the Ultras here, lucky number 13, the 14th one has already spawned, so it is going to be a lot of hungry Ultras. Do they have good upgrades? Well, the chitinous plating is nearly done. Let's take a look at the remainder of the Ultras. They are at 2-2 right now, which means that these Ultras are going to be terrifying. And now the chitinous plating finished 2 and 5. If you include chitinous plating, the armor upgrades, and the fact that they do spawn with 1 armor, the Ultra is now going to be moving out. And honestly, at this point, this is kind of where you just move into your opponent's base because you need to make these Ultras work. There's not a whole lot you can do. Will most likely upgrade this to an orbital. Yes, he does, but man, that push is dangerously low. Dangerously close, excuse me, to becoming really close to his base. And it feels like the Ultras are going to go ahead and move on in there. Is there a whole lot of defense? Widow Mines are okay. They obviously don't do all the damage, though. The Siege Tank on the high ground is a nice touch here. 16 kills on the Siege Tank. Surely by the end of this fight, he will have more. The Ultras here, though, just kind of fumbling into each other. That's why splitting them up is very important, sending them into the base at different times, different intervals. You can see 4 right there going into the main base, 2 at the natural. I think there was 3, though. And all of a sudden, Hyun managing to make a move on the map at the same time. Taeja is also taking out one of the macro hatches. Can he continue the pain? You also have to remember that Hyun is very low on money. Yes, he's slow on supply, but guess what? So is Taeja. As Taeja actually cleans up those Lings with relative ease. +3 attack is just absurd. 3-3 even more so. And now you can see the Ultras attacking the main base. I mean, there's no other way to say it. All the production of Taeja is got to be going down. What does Taeja actually have planned right now? Well, apparently it involves killing lots of drones because they are running all over the place. 5 SCVs, now 4, now 3 against 20, now 2. Oh god, where are these other SCVs? Literally only 2 SCVs, soon to be 1. He is the last of his kind, man, and he has got to cope with it. But anyways, it does look like the Evolution Chamber node decides to go ahead and go for the Spire. I think this is a good choice. Not that Zergblade can really afford to produce off the Spire right now. But here come the Banelings, and huge detonations. Taeja looking somewhere else on the map. Not that I can really blame him. It's just Taeja at this point is really far behind. I gotta say that Taeja, one of the better players from Team Liquid, but Hyun is just so sick good. I don't really know if Taeja can do anything about this. I mean, unless he had Dark Templar or Void Rays, it's got to be kind of hard just to cheese your opponent out of a game, although he is sure as hell going to try. He does have the Planetary Fortress up and running. We'll be able to take out several of these Zerglings, as many of them fly off the edge of the map, and you really want to focus on the Lings if possible, just because you are never going to kill those Ultras with the Planetary Fortress. That is just not going to happen. And is there going to be an attack down at the south at all? That is the real question I find myself asking. But either way, a very interesting game here so far, as Taeja has lost his natural. He has sacked his main. He lost his third, but he is not giving up hope just yet. He's at 25 supply. That carrier is at 0 health. And so far, this is not looking very good for Taeja. I really can't even imagine what he could possibly do. I mean, one fungal is going to kill off all those Marines anyways. This army is quite large for Vibe, or for Hyun. I mean, look at how much of the map Hyun can see. He actually knows about everything that's going on this game, and will actually try and clean up these last few Marines with some Banelings. That is going to be thwarted as the Medivacs do decide to go ahead and retreat. So, still anyone's game. I do want to say, though, that Taeja is way, way behind, so what Taeja's going to have to rely on is some sort of trap. He's got to set up some sort of trap, and it's not going to happen. No trap, so it is going to be a GG here. Overall, I think units lost was almost identical. Yes, it was 30,499 to 29,621. However, Taeja was never able to get the momentum, and honestly, I think a lot of it just had to do with the fact that, well, Hyun is amazingly good at video games. So that's definitely something to keep in mind there, as Hyun is able to take this game. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.